A recent study by a group of Harvard professors found that imported goods have become 4% more expensive since the Trump administration started imposing trade tariffs in early March, while the price of domestic products rose by 2%, and that U.S. companies are footing the bill and passing on some of it to consumers.
Right now, we move almost $200 billion worth of stuff over our ports each year. And so if there's a reduction in that volume, it's going to impact growth negatively. And then the volume that is continuing to come in is going to come in with a much bigger price tag. In other words, inflation.
Experts agree that more price hikes are on the way as additional port fees for Chinese-made container vessels took effect in October. The move has forced many carriers to take their China-linked vessels off U.S. trade lanes, and the reduced supply caused by that redeployment has already pushed some freight and tanker rates higher.
So now all of a sudden you're hindered by the lack of activity going from Chinese ports to US ports, which can create delays and cost increases in supply chain. That's where I think this becomes very interesting, is how the players respond. Because if you're working with a state-owned liner who's able to essentially subsidize the business unit, you probably could maintain your rates and then gobble up more market share. But if you have to be a for-profit entity and you're trying to win on service levels, you're probably going to have a hard time competing.
That's because the potential burden for the top 10 carriers alone is estimated at $3.2 billion in 2026, according to a Reuters report. But the worst of the impact hasn't been felt yet.
I think people were very worried that the global trade war would slow down the U.S. economy. I think that in general, the uncertainty associated with the global trade war has slowed down the global economy more than if you didn't have a trade war. But those effects have been relatively muted on the U.S. economy. Part of that is there's an AI boom going on in the U.S. economy. There's a lot of investment in that particular area.
Other factors may have kept inflation at bay for now, but trade experts warn the fallout from the combined tariffs and port fees is likely to be felt in the coming months. Ediz Tiyansan, CGTN, Los Angeles.